Today we are going to be talking about a career exploration workshop for grades 6 through 8. This is for teacher and staff so that we can help teach them the lesson plans, explain why we're talking about career exploration at junior high, and explain how our 6-week program can help their students become more career oriented and more successful in school. So career exploration for grades 6 through 8. This is to help students learn how to explore their career interests, start job exploration, and start to discuss college pathways with our students. We know that starting at this age is paramount to helping students succeed later in high school, at college, and even eventually later in their careers. This workshop is going to explain their 6 lesson plans to help with this goals project of helping students. So there's weekly lesson plans designed to help teachers and faculty support student career planning and career learning. So there's 6 lesson plans, like we said. These are very easy to incorporate into your classroom once a week. So you need to find 1 hour of the week. Each lesson plan is about an hour. 1 hour a week, a total of 6 hours, total of 6 weeks, will help your students be more successful and start to think about their success. So the strategy is that by using a theme of explore, starting with Voyage of Self-Discovery for week 1, we are going to help students discover and examine their personalities, strengths, and goals. We are then going to take those personalities, strengths, and goals, relate them into the career field, and show them what's possible. Week 1, your 1 hour lesson plan will be on the topic of Voyage of Self-Discovery. Students will explore their self and study an introduction to skills, interests, and job goals. Next, we take it to week 2, called Personal Compass. Students will find their interests, personal strengths, and personality types. Continuing on, we're going to go to week 3, Trimming the Sails. Students make a connection with their interests in high school and career planning. So week 3 is really important, where students are going to talk about, these are my interests, these are my passions that we've already talked about. Where does that fit into high school classes? And farther, where does that fit into my career? Week 4, Mapping the Future. Taking week 3 a step farther, we're going to talk about the career interests and success pathways. How do we get to the career they want? What do they need to do in order to get where they want to be? Week 5, Charting Your Course. Again, we're going to be taking week 3 and week 4 and adding to it. In this week 5, students will visualize success as they examine high school readiness and college exploration. In week 5, students will actually use an online tool that helps them show exactly what classes they need, the grades that they need, etc., to achieve their college or career goals. So this is taking everything that they're learning, compiling it into actionable items. And then finally, week 6, where students create a working career portfolio and learn to set goals. In week 6, students will take everything that they have learned, they'll compile it all together in a portfolio. That portfolio is for them, for their parents, for other teachers in their future, and also will help them to show that they have real focus and can really achieve what they want. So regressing a little bit, why do we need career counseling? Why is this session, these 6 weeks program, so important to our kids, especially grades 6 through 8? They're not talking about careers usually yet. They're just talking about classes, maybe thinking about high school. The reason we want to talk about career counseling now is that students' perceptions about jobs and career industries tend to form before the age of 10. So we are way behind in talking about their careers in actionable ways, not just what do you want to be when you grow up, but what do you really love? What do you think you could see yourself doing as a career, and how did you get there? This also will start to reduce gender stereotyping. When kids are exposed to non-traditional workers in different fields, their worlds open up. We want to talk about women in science, women in math. We want to talk about men in women-led positions. We really want to blend the idea of gender-specific jobs. Lastly, this will increase students' self-awareness. When students can showcase their unique personality, they use it throughout their school career. If we can show them now, these are your strengths, they can use those strengths throughout their high school and college career to be better students, better friends, and more successful. On the other side, they also will know their weaknesses. You have a tendency to procrastinate. That means that you need to set goals to help yourself be successful earlier than the due date because you know that procrastination is one of your weaknesses. Okay? So self-awareness expands their interests, and essentially self-awareness can help them be more successful. When we're talking about career exploration goals, this program is 3 things. Students learn, feel empowered, and they get college and career readiness programs. So our college and career readiness programs help students to develop a keen sense of self-awareness. They help students develop their identity. They give students the awareness of one's strengths and weaknesses, and this all together increases a student's confidence. Students will also feel empowered as they learn about how to choose the best career path suited towards their skill set, and they will identify areas of talent, both things that will help them feel confident and empowered to be successful. Last, students will learn the importance of goal setting, how to develop plans, and how to achieve attainable goals. In this 6-week session, week 1, we're going to set a goal. Week 6, we achieve that goal. So in a short time frame of 6 weeks, students will achieve measurable goals and learn that they can do it and give them the tools to follow up. We are going to watch a little video to help us be motivated to help our students. This video is helping children aspire to careers. And my question to you is, what if you had had career counseling in school? What would have changed? I know for me, I would have gone into college with a more direct idea of what I wanted to do. Instead, I wasted 2 years of college, a lot of money, changing my majors. I changed my major 3 times. If I had had more direct career counseling, more specific to my needs, my interests, and my skill sets, I might have saved money and been more passionate about my job right away. We're going to watch the first 5 minutes of this video together.
We were a motorized bicycle company. They said, you'll never be more than that. What will they say next? On the power of dreams.
For the last 15 years, I've been working in the world of corporate recruitment and staffing. But over the last 8 years, I've had the unique opportunity, because of some amazing colleagues, to blend in the world of workforce development, career counseling, and education. And that has led us to a prompt, or a question, or a challenge that goes, how does a child aspire to a career they don't know exists? Especially when we know that most children will never have a class on career readiness, college exploration, or anything like it. In fact, they'll spend most of their time worrying about grades. So another question, why the lack of dedicated time, people, and resources working with young people to really explore what's out there in the world? What if one of the purposes of school and of education was to help each child discover and explore their own unique strengths, interests, and values, and how those can align to their next steps in life? Because we know that students are going to spend years studying biology, chemistry, and English. They can provide interesting commentary on a variety of novels and literature. And they gain this awareness day after day, class after class, year after year. But they can't with clarity articulate who they are and their next steps in life. They'll spend an amount of time near zero, focusing on themselves and how they fit into the world. Is this not more important than world history? I mean, should we really focus on world history when we don't know how we fit into the world? Now, I'm not suggesting that young people need to select what career they want at an early age, but I do think that during these formative, critical years, that young people should have the opportunity to understand how it is that they are wired and the enormous range of possibilities out in the world. When I was in high school, had a number of amazing people around me. I went to a great boys' school called Boys Latin back in Baltimore, Maryland. That school made a big difference in my life. I wasn't a particularly good student. I think I was a much better athlete. And I love this photo because it reminds me of a very powerful TED Talk by Amy Cuddy. She's a social psychologist that studies nonverbal communication. And in this moment, you see me in my power pose, in my pride pose. Like at the best of the best. I can guarantee you that there were no pride poses happening in my math class. I was so bad at math. So bad at math. In this case, I had just intercepted a football and ran it back 55 yards for a touchdown. This is when I was at my best. And I had my grades in my back pocket to prove it. I remember sitting at my desk and thinking, why am I here? What am I meant to do? This math stuff is so important to the adults. I'm so bad at it. Who would ever want me? I even remember a teacher at one point saying, we shouldn't expect too much more from Ed through the end of the semester. And that was really hard to hear. But the good news is that I made it through high school. I ended up going to college. 3 colleges later, and almost 5 years later, I stumbled into a major that did meet my talents. It did match my talents. And better yet, didn't require math. I even graduated with 3 job offers. I had successfully made it through high school and college without having a single conversation about my own unique strengths, interests, and values, and how those align to the world. At this point, I was employed, but I was still wondering, where do I fit in? As it turns out, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, the love of my life, was getting her degree in, of all things, career counseling. And she used me as a test pilot for this instrument that career counselors use called the MBTI, or the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. I was 25. I can still remember the moment when she shared with me the results that read, practical service to people. In that moment, I knew that I mattered to the world. In that moment, I knew that I had special gifts and special talents that could be deployed beyond my mathematics skills. That moment, and that assessment in particular changed my entire trajectory around my thoughts around how I matter to the world. And over the next several years, I would take additional assessments like the Strong Interest Inventory and the Strengths Finder 2.0, and these instruments all together would create this unique career portfolio that would help me understand how I orient myself to the world. It helped me craft my dream job, the job that I have today. It helped me understand how I approach management, leadership, how I handle risk. It changed my entire outlook on my world of work and where I could fit in. At this point, the only question I was asking myself is, I wonder how much pain I could have avoided and how many other pathways I could have explored if I had access to these assessments early on in life. You know, when you have something like this that's so life-changing, you want to share it with others. And I can remember pretty early on thinking, I want to give others the opportunity to access these assessments so they can find their place in the world. And here I was, working at Qualcomm, of all places, in staffing and HR with the opportunity to do just that. Thanks to my wonderful, amazing boss, Ben Hampson, and an incredible colleague named Megan Graham, we put together this concept to create a career counseling practice.
So we're going to talk a little bit about our lesson plans. Lesson 1, first one to set the stage, is our voyage of self-discovery. So exploration of self and introduction to skills, interests, and job goals. Understanding ourselves means examining our outside skills and interests, as well as acknowledging the inner self and our unique differences with our skill sets and interests. The activity for this week is that students will create an inside-outside Students will create an inside-outside self-expression with their paper bag. They're going to be decorating the outside with their personality, their interests, etc., things that everyone else can see. On the inside, they're going to put their self inside the bag. That is going to be on note cards that include their personal qualities, the job ideas, their dreams, interests, hobbies, and goals for the future. Here's an example of one of our lesson plans. So if you can see, we have our overview, counseling standards. Sometimes if it's applicable, we'll include our social emotional learning skills that we'll be learning in this module, our objectives, the time required, and we also include a Hawaiian word of the week. So we want to incorporate some Hawaiian as well as the voyaging aspect of this whole 6 weeks. We also have a Hawaiian word of the week each week to kind of direct kids back to where they are. We also include our long activity, and then at the end we have follow-up questions. So you can ask these questions either the day of the lesson plans or throughout the week to kind of check for understanding and increase the learning possibilities. Lesson 2, our personal compass. In this lesson, students will explore their personal strengths and how to turn those into a career through personality tests and self-reflection. This week, students take 2 personality and career tests and then reflect on those as a group on the results. Students don't have to share their personal results or the careers that the personality test said would be a good fit, but they can share if they thought it was accurate, if they gained new ideas, learned new things about themselves, etc. Students will then relate the results to their previous work with their inner-outer self from week 1. Lesson 3 is on trimming the sails. This lesson plan is designed to help students make a connection with their interests and career school planning. It helps junior high students choose high school classes that will help them gain confidence and be most successful. So when I was going into high school, we had some AP classes, we had other choices of certain things we could take. I had no clue. I chose some classes that I didn't love, and then I ended up getting lucky and taking some classes I really enjoyed. So in this activity, students will use online tools and explore the differences between apprenticeships, private vocational schools, local community colleges, four-year colleges, military service, and the really unique part of this tool is it will show sample high school plans from local high schools. So if you include your area, this will show students exactly what courses are available at every high school they're interested in, as well as what they can do to get there. Lesson 4, we're going to get a little more specific, start mapping the future. Students will work independently and creatively taking photos around the school of things that interest them, that relate to their occupational interests, then come together as a group and discuss them. In Lesson 4, students who are interested in medical tracks, they may go take photos of first aid boxes around the school. The activity in this lesson is that students are given cameras to capture their interests and unique personalities. Throughout this, they'll understand that different careers call to different people for different reasons, and kids will start to understand career choices as well as take a walk in someone else's career shoes when they meet as a group afterward and share their photos. This is a super fun lesson because students get to work independently and then come together as a group and share what they did, which is a really positive experience. Lesson 5, almost to the end. Last but not least, we're going to chart their course. So students will start to visualize their success and learn how to use outside resources to chart out a course to college, vocational school, or their dream job. So building on that educational tool, we're going to use another online resource. In this resource, students will complete a reality check on their career, which shows them the grades that they need to get into that college or that degree, the amount of money it takes to get that degree, etc. And then they're going to develop SMART goals to achieve those reality check career goals. Last but not least, the best part of this project, they're going to captain their own ship. Students gain confidence and learn about the support in their community to help them papa'ana or make a plan for their school SMART goals to create a working portfolio that guides them towards their career goals. In this activity, students will gather all the work in the last 5 weeks. Teachers, you will help with having some printouts and saving some of their work in the previous weeks. And then the students will develop a portfolio. They can show their portfolio to teachers and parents and other staff at parent-teacher nights. They can take this home. If they move schools or if they move teachers next year, they can take this portfolio to show the next teacher. And then students essentially take all that they learned from the career tools in the past 5 weeks and they create portfolios to help them gain self-confidence, learn about their self, and demonstrate working exploration career skills. Wrap up. Okay, so talking about all of this together, studies show that there are reciprocal relationships between academic self-concept and career-related self-concept, formed by students based on their understanding of their academic abilities and their interests. So if we can increase their academic self-concept and confidence, We can also eventually increase their career self-concept, so they know who they are, they know what their interests and their skills are, and they know how to make that happen. Additionally, on week 1 and week 6, students will take a career assessment at the beginning and end so that we can check for understanding and make changes as needed. Here's an example of the career readiness self-assessment that the students will take before and after. They will have additional questions in addition to these. So some resources that we use, some resources that we can share with the kids and that teachers can use as well. 3 main resources: the OECD Career Readiness. This is an online portal that's designed to provide new advice to governments, schools, etc. on how to prepare young people to compete in a COVID-specific post-labor market. So they use a lot of data sets. They show careers that fell with COVID, careers that increased with COVID, and then how some careers changed post-COVID. This makes it very relatable for kids and also more realistic. Another one that we use is educationquest.org, which is an online resource tool helping students. This is the one where we completed reality check, we create SMART goals. They have a lot of other tools to use to help students become successful in their career building. And then last but not least, there's the Navigator app that we'll use on week 3. This is an online resource tool that helps students learn the difference between all the different options in careers, whether they wanted to go into an apprenticeship, college, military, etc. The really strength of the Navigator app is it shows them exactly what high school courses and plans they need to take in order to reach that, and that's local and specific to their high school. We're going to open it up for questions. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this 6 weekly courses help you with ideas of how to help your kids develop their self-concept, their confidence, and eventually become more successful. Thank you.